There are certain events that happen in life that you never forget where you were when you heard the news. Irrespective of your age, location, background, I can think about a few of such events in my life personally. Way back when I was 6, that was the first of such events that I remember where I was when I heard the news. I was a 6-year-old girl in the northern part of Nigeria with my dad in our garden, and my dad was watering his plants. I remember vividly. It was a weekday, and he screamed across the neighbors to say, "Have you heard the news? Have you heard the news?" And they were all squealing with excitement, and I was wondering what news. I was very curious. I said to my dad, "Dad, what news?" He said, "He's free." I thought, "Who's free?" And my dad said, "Nelson Mandela, he's been released." I can never forget this day. I don't think my dad can, and most people watching this who lived within that period, irrespective of how old you were. This was in 1990, and I only knew the dates, exact dates, because I checked because of this video. That was the 11th of February, when Nelson Mandela was free after 26 years in prison. The next of such events for me occurred 7 years later, 1997, and I was about to go to school. I was going into my GCSE year, and we're all sat down. It was a Monday, just about to start school, and this was on the 31st of August, 1997. I was sat down with my siblings and my dad, and we're watching the news. My dad watched CNN religiously, and they showed the outpouring of love, tears, flowers, and that's what I remember like a little girl, seeing people leave flowers in Buckingham Palace, in front of the gates. That memory is still with me. And just one additional one, which is a sad one as well. 2001, 4 years after this event, the next came 11th September. I was at uni, going to my first year university. I remember not being at home, being in Buea in Cameroon with a friend when we heard the news that the World Trade Centers had been bombed. The first time a lot of us knew about terrorism. Another remarkable day in my life. Let's fast forward. Yesterday, the 8th of September, 2022, was another of such remarkable days for most people. It did not only mark the death of the Queen, it marked the shift in an era of most people who knew and who grew up knowing that we had lost a queen. And immediately after that, the era of a king started. Getting up this morning, it feels like a country that was hit by a war and recovering, picking up the pieces. Sad faces, tears, and loads of flowers are being laid in front of Buckingham Palace and in Scotland, Balmoral, where she passed away. You might wonder why this relates to this. I had in my diary to do this video yesterday, but I was not able to because of the news, and I decided to do it today. And I'm going to publish it today, the 9th of September, hopefully, 2022. I decided to add these memorable days because I was going to add it to my video if I did not have the Queen's death yesterday still. There is no comparison with what I'm going to talk about today and the death of the Queen. But for me, I had my own moment that I'll never forget, which came on the 22nd of August, 2022. When I realized that I had a condition, a lifelong condition with no immediate treatment or cure, that can only be managed. I had this condition since I was a teen, and I have lived with it till date. My symptoms have improved recently, thank God, but I was always too scared in more recent times to do any sort of research for the fear of the unknown. Like myself, most people, when they suffer from a condition that is not very common, or they think it's not very common, and that has a stigma, they either die in silence or don't even want to know what the condition is. I have suffered with boils and swellings since I was about 11, 12. It was really bad in my early 20s and late teens. I couldn't live a normal life, but I pretended. People watching this video today will be probably shocked if they're close to me and never knew that I had this condition, because I had to be extra careful to hide it, because it is very stigmatized. Once you have a swelling with pus and a boil-like condition, people attribute it to all sorts of diseases that I don't want to call on this video. People don't tell you, but they talk about it. And I'm so lucky that my condition, although it was quite severe when I had most of it, it did not affect me mentally like it did some people. I suffered a great deal in silence. I remember times that I couldn't go out because I was in so much pain. The times that I go to school and I have 6 boils under my arm. The times that I'll dress up to go out. I'll have a nice white t-shirt, and before I leave the house, it's soaked with blood because I've just had an incident where one of the swellings decides to burst. I had to keep my hygiene extra because of this, and I'll run back, change my shirt, wash it, tidy up, and go like nothing happened. I have never put my arms up for anybody to see. People will not notice it, but I have suffered in silence. I have decided to talk about this condition. Yesterday, it was penciled for me to do this video, but I decided to do it today. I have Hidradenitis Suppurativa, known as HS. I still have very severe symptoms, but less so over the past 3-4 years, because it's most active when you have more hormones, most in puberty, and it reduces when you get older. 1 in 100 people have it. Because of my dark complexion, I have been able to get away with it more because the scars are hidden. The condition presents itself in the form of boils under your arms, under your breast, in your groin area, and sometimes in your bum. I had more of it on my armpits and under my breast. It's left me with very bad scars that only a few months ago, the reason why I discovered what I had was because I was finally ready to face the demon. And I searched and I cried when I realized that a lot of people suffer from this, and it's a known condition. I don't want this video to be too long. I just want to introduce this and say, if there's anybody watching, if you have a condition that makes you unable to do the most basic things, affects you mentally, makes you feel worthless, makes you feel depressed, because those symptoms I've just said right there is very common as a side effect from people with HS like me. They can't form relationships because of the stigma. People think that it's linked to STD, poor hygiene. It's none of that. It's hereditary, and sometimes obesity or smoking might aggravate the effects. And that's why when I lost weight, things improved for me. I have been brave enough to talk about this today because I want anybody who is suffering from this to reach out to me. I have a channel, and I don't only want to talk about my glam life and my family. I want to try to impact my community and people who watch. I was shocked to discover that there's a whole community out there supporting people with HS, and I'm going to reach out in due course. To conclude on this video, I'll make subsequent videos on how I discovered I had the diagnosis and how I got to this point at 38 after suffering from severe boils since I was about 10 to almost 30 years of my life. I have suffered with this condition till 3 weeks ago, when the eureka moments came in my mind and I searched the symptoms, and it was textbook. I want to just say something before I end the video, that sorry I've been emotional, but I have tried not to talk about it, but I'm dying in silence and I want to help somebody. I want to say 2 things. I gave the example of the events that happen in your life that you don't forget, not to downplay the death of the Queen, but to say that she's lived a fantastic life. And I just thought that the only way I could mention was in this video to say, whatever you do, live life and think about the legacy that you're going to leave once you pass on. All we can talk about the Queen is how she served her country for 76 years. So whatever we do here, think about what your legacy will be the day you leave, and live life like it was the last day. We all will pass on one day. And the last thing is, please be kind. If you see somebody with a condition, whatever disability or physical deformation or illness, let's not be quick to judge and stigmatize them. We all could be suffering in silence. Thanks very much for watching. And please, if you want to reach out to me to provide me support, this is new to me. Finding out at this age that I had a condition that is well known, I'll put my Instagram handle underneath. And if you're not following me, please do well to do. I'm sorry I spoke about without introducing myself. My name is Liwa and this is my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Okay, bye.